Have you ever stood in front of your refrigerator after a workout, staring at that container of chicken breast or protein shake, wondering if eating it would completely destroy all the hard work you just put in? Maybe you've been fasting for hours, your stomach is growling, and someone confidently tells you that the moment you consume protein, everything shuts down. Your insulin spikes, fat burning stops dead in its tracks, and all those precious autophagy benefits you've been chasing vanish into thin air. It's frustrating, isn't it? You're trying to do everything right, but the rules keep changing, and everyone seems to have a different opinion about what actually works. For years, we've been living under the shadow of a very specific belief system. We were taught that metabolism operates exactly like a light switch in your bedroom. It's either completely off or completely on. There's no in-between, no gray area, no middle ground whatsoever. When the switch is off, you're in fasting mode. Your body is cleansing itself, repairing damaged cells, burning through stored fat, and activating all those longevity pathways everyone talks about. But the second you flip that switch on by eating something, especially protein, everything reverses. Your body immediately stops cleaning, stops burning fat, and starts growing and storing instead. We were told in no uncertain terms that you simply cannot have both processes happening at the same time. It's biologically impossible. You have to choose one or the other. But what if I told you that this entire framework, this binary way of thinking about human metabolism, was fundamentally incomplete? What if the human body doesn't actually work in such black and white terms? What if you could actually activate growth and muscle building without completely shutting off the cellular cleanup systems that keep you healthy and young? A groundbreaking study that was just published in Cell Reports has thrown a massive wrench into everything we thought we knew. This research suggests that our understanding of protein and autophagy has been missing some critical pieces of the puzzle. The study demonstrates something that seems almost too good to be true. You can actually consume a large amount of protein, we're talking about up to 100 grams in a single meal, without shutting down your body's internal cleaning and repair systems. And this discovery completely reshapes how we need to think about diet design, belly fat reduction, and protecting precious muscle tissue as we age. To really grasp why this finding is so revolutionary, we need to take a step back and understand the old logic that's been governing our decisions for so long. The traditional belief system worked like this. Autophagy, which literally means self-eating in Greek, is your body's sophisticated breakdown and recycling process. It happens when your body finds itself low on nutrients and needs to become resourceful. When you're deprived of food for extended periods, your body doesn't just sit there helplessly. Instead, it goes searching through your cells like a cleanup crew looking for anything that can be salvaged. It hunts down waste materials, damaged proteins that are no longer functioning properly, old cells that have outlived their usefulness, and broken organelles that are cluttering up the cellular machinery. Then it recycles all of this material for survival, breaking it down into usable components that can be repurposed. This entire process gets triggered when something called mTOR, which stands for Mechanistic Target of Rapamycin, goes down. Think of mTOR as your body's master growth switch. When it's low, your body focuses on cleanup and repair. On the flip side of this equation, when you eat protein, especially protein that's rich in an amino acid called leucine, mTOR shoots up. Its job is to build muscle, repair tissue, and promote growth. Since mTOR has been scientifically shown to suppress autophagy when it's elevated, the conclusion seemed absolutely obvious and ironclad. Protein must kill autophagy. There's no way around it. It's basic biology. If you want cellular cleanup, you have to avoid protein. If you want muscle growth, you have to accept that cleanup stops. This created a terrible dilemma for anyone trying to simultaneously lose fat, build muscle, and support longevity.
But the latest research reveals something that challenges this entire paradigm. The researchers didn't just work with cells in petri dishes or mice in laboratory cages. They examined real human beings consuming vastly different amounts of protein after exercise sessions. They compared a normal 25-gram serving, which is what you might find in a typical chicken breast or protein shake, to an extremely large 100-gram serving consumed in a single meal. Now, traditional fitness advice has been telling us for decades that your body can only use around 30 grams of protein at one time. Anything beyond that magical number would simply be wasted, converted into sugar through a process called gluconeogenesis, or at best used for energy instead of muscle building. We were told that the muscle-building cup has a limited capacity and it overflows after that 30-gram point. Everything extra just spills out and goes to waste. But the results of this study were absolutely shocking and completely unexpected. The group that consumed 100 grams of protein didn't just build muscle at the same rate as the low-protein group, they continued building it for hours and hours longer. There wasn't some hard upper limit where the body suddenly stopped benefiting and started wasting protein. Your body doesn't just dump the excess or treat it as garbage, it keeps using it productively for extended periods. And when you actually stop and think about this through the lens of human evolution, it suddenly makes perfect sense and seems almost obvious. Our ancient ancestors didn't have meal prep containers stacked neatly in refrigerators. They didn't have protein shakes waiting for them every 3 hours. They didn't have the luxury of eating small, frequent meals throughout the day. If a tribe successfully hunted down a massive animal like a buffalo or deer, they feasted. They might consume several pounds of meat in one sitting because they had no way to preserve it, and then they would go long periods, sometimes days, without food until the next successful hunt. If the human body truly wasted everything above 30 grams and couldn't utilize large protein doses, our species would never have survived the harsh conditions of our evolutionary past. We were specifically designed through millions of years of natural selection to handle feast and fast cycles efficiently. This evolutionary logic forms the foundation of understanding real human biology instead of blindly repeating diet myths that sound scientific but fall apart under scrutiny. If you want a body that's genuinely strong, metabolically adaptable, and resistant to the stresses of modern life, and if you want real science that's based on evidence rather than fear and confusion, you need to understand how these mechanisms actually work. But here's where things become even more fascinating, and where this research truly matters for people trying to lose stubborn belly fat and maintain long-term health. When the scientists carefully measured the molecular markers of autophagy in these study participants, the discovery was stunning. Consuming 100 grams of protein did not shut down the autophagy signaling pathways that everyone predicted it would.
So, how is that even possible? How can you eat a massive protein meal and still maintain cellular cleanup systems? The answer lies hidden in how intelligently your body tracks and responds to different nutrients. Your body doesn't treat every food source as if it's exactly the same. We often lump all food into one generic category called calories. But your body separates protein and carbohydrates into completely different signaling pathways with different messages and different effects. Carbohydrates send the loudest, most overwhelming signal in your entire body. When you eat sugar or starchy foods like bread, pasta, rice, or potatoes, blood glucose rises sharply and rapidly. In response to this glucose surge, insulin floods into your bloodstream. And insulin is the master command system that controls almost everything. It sends a powerful broadcast message to nearly every single cell in your body simultaneously. The message is clear and unmistakable. Energy is available right now. Stop whatever cleaning and repair you're doing. Start storing this energy immediately. That single hormonal response acts like a global shutdown switch for autophagy, halting the internal cleanup process across your entire body and pushing everything towards storage mode and growth. Protein, however, sends a completely different type of message.
Protein speaks quietly and specifically to targeted areas of the body. Instead of blasting the entire system with a loudspeaker announcement, it activates highly specific nutrient sensors, especially one called cestrin-2, which has the job of detecting amino acids in the bloodstream. Yes, protein can slightly raise insulin levels, but not even remotely close to the overwhelming insulin surge that gets triggered by carbohydrates. We're talking about a gentle rise versus a massive spike. And without that huge insulin surge flooding through your system, the signal your body receives isn't "store energy everywhere in every cell." Instead, it becomes a much more targeted instruction: repair the tissues that need it, rebuild the structures that are damaged, restore what's been broken down. This is where something called the muscle sponge effect comes into play, which was one of the key mechanisms revealed in this groundbreaking study. When you're in a fasted state, or when you've just finished a hard training session, your muscles are absolutely starved for repair material. They're chemically hungry at a cellular level, desperately seeking the amino acids they need to rebuild damaged fibers. So when you consume a large dose of protein, your muscles behave exactly like a completely dry sponge that's been dropped into a bucket of water. They rapidly absorb amino acids, pulling them straight out of the bloodstream at an incredibly fast rate to rebuild tissue. Because your muscles are soaking up these nutrients so aggressively and efficiently, the rest of your body never experiences a dramatic nutrient overflow or surplus. The levels of amino acids circulating in places like your liver and fat tissue stay relatively low. This means that while your muscles are actively building and repairing, your liver and fat cells can still behave as if nutrients are scarce and maintain their cleanup processes. So you've essentially created a situation where one part of your body is in growth and recovery mode, while another part continues cleanup and autophagy. You've divided your metabolism into two different operating systems running simultaneously in different tissues. And this powerful dual state effect becomes even stronger and more pronounced thanks to one critical element, an amino acid called leucine. Leucine is the specific amino acid that flips the muscle-building switch more powerfully than any other. It's the primary trigger for mTOR activation in muscle tissue. As we get older, or when we develop insulin resistance, our muscles stop responding as effectively to normal amounts of protein. This phenomenon is called anabolic resistance. Your muscles simply can't hear the building signal anymore. The receptor sensitivity decreases. In that situation, 20 or 30 grams of protein just isn't enough to overcome that resistance. You need a much stronger signal, something powerful enough to break through that resistance barrier and force a response. Higher protein meals, 50 grams, 70 grams, even 100 grams, act like a hammer that smashes through the resistance and forces the muscles to wake up and respond. And because the muscles are so desperate for building material after being starved, they prioritize structural repair and protein synthesis instead of triggering a global shutdown of the body's cleanup systems. But there is one critical twist to this story, and this is where most people fail to understand the complete picture and end up making mistakes. This fascinating ability to simultaneously build muscle and maintain autophagy has mainly been observed and documented in lean, metabolically healthy individuals. When researchers looked at people who were overweight or obese, the situation changes dramatically and becomes much more complicated. This is where the narrative takes a darker turn, especially for those carrying significant amounts of excess body fat. When researchers examined overweight and obese individuals in various studies, they discovered something genuinely unexpected and troubling. The biological signals that normally trigger autophagy were actually elevated in these individuals. On paper, looking at gene expression and molecular markers, it looked like their bodies were literally shouting for cleanup. The genes responsible for initiating autophagy appeared highly active, as if the system desperately wanted to repair all the internal damage that was accumulating. But when scientists measured something called autophagic flux, which is the measurement that truly matters because it shows whether cleanup is actually happening and completing its cycle, the process was barely moving forward. In simple terms that anyone can understand, the command to clean was being sent loud and clear, but the machinery wasn't responding. It's exactly like trying to start a frozen car engine on a brutal winter morning. You keep turning the key over and over. The starter motor keeps clicking and trying. You can hear it attempting to work, but the engine refuses to turn over and start. The signal is there, the intent is there, but the execution is blocked. This happens because obesity creates a state of constant internal stress and chronic low-grade inflammation that pervades every system. Visceral fat, which is the deep, dangerous fat that wraps around your internal organs like a toxic blanket, floods your entire body with inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. These inflammatory signals damage mitochondria, which are the power plants of your cells. They disrupt cellular communication pathways. They clog up the very repair mechanisms that are supposed to fix the damage. So your body desperately tries to activate autophagy to clean up the mess and repair the accumulating damage. But the system is jammed and blocked by the very problem it's trying to solve. This creates a vicious self-reinforcing cycle that's brutal to break. You're carrying excess belly fat because your metabolism is broken and dysfunctional, and your metabolism remains broken and gets progressively worse because your body cannot properly activate the cleanup systems that are required to repair it. So instead of improving over time, things slowly deteriorate and get worse.
But this isn't a reason to lose hope or give up. In fact, understanding this mechanism reveals something incredibly important. It provides a clear roadmap for what needs to happen. If you're currently overweight or obese, your first mission is not obsessing over whether a small amount of protein ruins autophagy or worrying about the perfect fasting window. Your main priority, the thing that matters more than anything else, is removing the visceral fat that is literally suffocating your cellular repair systems and blocking them from functioning. And here's the surprising truth that goes against much of the popular fasting advice you hear. The solution is not cutting protein lower and lower. It's actually increasing it significantly. Protein does far more than just build muscle tissue. It has an incredibly powerful thermic effect, which means your body has to burn a substantial chunk of calories just to digest and process it. This is called the thermic effect of food. Roughly 30% of the calories contained in protein are automatically spent during the digestion and metabolic processing. So if you eat 1,000 calories worth of protein, your body effectively only keeps around 700 calories. The other 300 are burned off just handling the protein. Compare that to eating 1,000 calories of fat or sugar, where you store almost all of it with minimal energy expenditure. So by strategically increasing your protein intake, you automatically increase your metabolic rate. You burn more calories throughout the day. You preserve precious muscle tissue that drives your metabolism, and you directly weaken the very fat that is blocking your autophagy engine from functioning properly. But how you use protein, especially when breaking a fasting period, matters more than ever. And that's where the real strategic application begins. This is where the approach truly changes direction from conventional fasting wisdom. If you're fasting specifically to lose belly fat, what matters most isn't simply how many hours you fast, it's how you break that fast and what signals you send to your body when you reintroduce food. Old advice said to re-enter eating gently and carefully, usually with bone broth, healthy fats like coconut oil or butter, or something light and easy to digest to supposedly stay in ketosis and avoid shocking your system. But the new data emerging from studies like this one suggests something completely different and counterintuitive. If you want to protect muscle mass, speed up your metabolic rate, and still keep cellular cleanup processes going in the tissues that need it, you should actually break your fast with a powerful, substantial dose of lean protein. We're talking about foods like chicken breast,
egg whites, white fish, Greek yogurt, or whey protein isolate. Why specifically lean protein? Because it provides the amino acids your muscles desperately need for repair without dumping massive amounts of calories, sugar, or fat into your system all at once. That means you feed your muscle tissue exactly what it's craving without flooding your body with overwhelming energy signals that would shut down cellular repair processes everywhere. In this context and application, protein isn't your enemy at all. It becomes your greatest advantage and strategic tool. For lean and metabolically healthy individuals, this discovery becomes a genuine biological superpower. You can train intensely, fast for 16 or 18 hours, and then consume a huge protein meal. And instead of ruining all the longevity benefits you've been working toward, you actually enhance both performance and cellular health at the same time. You become what could be called a metabolic hybrid, an organism capable of repairing, building, and cleaning simultaneously, depending on which tissues need what. For people who are overweight or struggling with obesity, this research is even more liberating and removes a huge psychological burden. You no longer have to starve yourself or fast for extreme lengths of time to trigger cellular repair. You don't need to live in fear of food or treat every meal like it's going to ruin your progress. And you don't need to worry that every single gram of protein is destroying your autophagy and wrecking your longevity. By eating around 100 grams of protein after a fasting period or after exercise, you activate powerful satiety hormones like GLP-1 and PYY. These are the exact same hormonal systems that expensive weight loss drugs are designed to manipulate artificially, but you're triggering them naturally through food choices. These hormones naturally reduce cravings, stabilize your appetite throughout the day, and prevent the binge-eating episodes that often happen later when you've been restricting too much. Meanwhile, your muscle tissue is being preserved and protected. Your metabolism stays higher instead of crashing, and your body becomes progressively more efficient at burning fat rather than storing it. And as the excess wheat slowly drops off week by week and month by month, something truly amazing begins to happen inside your body at a cellular level. The broken autophagy system that was jammed and non-functional slowly starts working again. The engine that once refused to start, no matter how many times you turned the key, finally fires up and runs. Your biology begins to repair itself the way it was always designed to through millions of years of evolution. This new research removes the fear and confusion that's been paralyzing people. It proves beyond doubt that the human body is not fragile or easily broken. It's remarkably adaptable, incredibly intelligent, and deeply resilient. When you give it the right signals at the right time in the right context, it can repair damaged tissue, rebuild muscle, and renew cellular systems all at once. You don't have to make some impossible choice between looking strong and healthy today versus living a long, disease-free life tomorrow. With the right approach, based on actual science instead of diet myths, you can absolutely do both.
This discovery is so much more than just interesting academic science or something to discuss in theory. It's a practical roadmap for real-life application. It means you don't have to live in constant fear of protein or treat it like some dangerous substance. You don't have to starve yourself or fast for days on end to unlock cellular repair. And you don't have to choose between competing goals like health, strength, longevity, and fat loss as if they're mutually exclusive. With the right strategy that understands how your body actually works, your biology is capable of achieving all of these goals together simultaneously. Because when you prioritize protein intake strategically, something genuinely powerful happens in your body. You dramatically reduce hunger and the constant food obsession. You stabilize your appetite so you're not thinking about food every hour. You protect the very muscle tissue that drives your metabolic rate and keeps you burning calories. And as that process continues, belly fat begins to drop consistently,
Chronic inflammation decreases throughout your system, and the internal machinery responsible for autophagy slowly restarts and becomes functional again. Eventually, you reach a point where your biology stops fighting against you and begins working with you as a partner. This new research frees us completely from outdated fear-based dieting rules that were never based on complete science in the first place. It reminds us that human biology evolved over millions of years to survive cycles of feast and famine, intense stress, and deep recovery, building strength and repairing damage. We're not fragile creatures that break from eating protein. Your body does not want to fail you or make you sick. It wants to restore you to optimal function. Give it the right signal at the right time, supply it with the right fuel in the right amounts, and it will build muscle, repair damage, and protect you all at the same time without conflict. So the next time you finish an intense workout or complete a fasting period, don't fear the steak on your plate. Don't fear the protein shake in your hand, and don't fear feeding your body what it actually needs. You are not breaking your progress or ruining everything you've worked for. You may actually be unlocking the very results you've been chasing. Your body is far smarter and more sophisticated than the oversimplified diet myths you were taught by fitness gurus and social media influencers. Feed it wisely based on science. Train it powerfully with intention. Trust the design that evolution has refined over millions of years. Because with the right approach grounded in actual research, you don't have to choose between building muscle today and living longer tomorrow. You can absolutely do both at the same time.